Games, games, games. That's the theme for today, with 2 games down, 3 more to go, and those spots to advance directly to the FNCS Grand Finals are slipping away on the day. And a lot of those teams, they're having some big games, so the top side of that leaderboard is going to be stacked as well. This is going to be a race to the very end of today, and it will continue tomorrow as well, as Voco and Vortexers contested almost all day long over towards Pleasant Piazza. This is something I feel like they prepared for. It's just not swaying in their direction just yet.
Look, you said it, Jacob. This is just the start. It's day 1, 3 days to be played out. And if you don't get a VR today, you don't got to worry. If you get top 25, you'll stay in the upper bracket and have another chance at it tomorrow. For the players competing in the lower bracket, which they're competing in right now, they have to get top 30. And then tomorrow, they will be pushed up to the upper bracket and have that chance to qualify through a VR. So you need to accumulate as much points as possible, even if you're unable to get a VR in the end. Taking a look now at some duos that, with only 2 builds to work with, I mean, it's how these early game situations normally come to play if you take those engagements right off the start without spending as much time farming up, looting up, but looks like they have a bit of time to take a break.
Man, you can see the way that we're looting right now. Lazen was keeping an eye on them down towards the pier. They switched off while he has to farm up because you made the call of low on resources. Now the flow barrier in the crash pad trying to gain some elevation. This is Andalex and Sato's best chance to try to back him down. 2v1. First shot's gonna land, but he takes some damage himself. Back to back, but it's not a ton of damage until that shot hits. They got him down to just a sliver of HP, and he's trying to get out on the heels. Even take some extra roots going through the window. Finally catches his opponent. That one's gonna get solidified with Analyx just right outside to reunite. An easy elimination, and just as it comes through, Lazen, he disengages towards the west. His teammate goes down, and he doesn't want to be the one to follow.
Oh, he's running. Lazen is out of there. He is gone as Andalex and his duo partner with the player advantage. Resin, Bag Chaser, 2 elims on the board. Snooty has been overtaken now. They have a lot of freedom to continue looting, continue farming, getting those dream loadouts, and just prepping for the end game. Let's actually take a look here at how they got these elims.
Yeah, interesting to see them get more and more aggressive as the day goes on. Diox is trying to make a cheeky play, but he's just by himself. He was at least able to get that first knock, but when the numbers are that stacked against you, sometimes there's almost nothing you can do.
Really so much, you know. It gets difficult. For Cringe, though, Nomz, it didn't go their way in the last match. It was Queasy Thomas HD that took him out, but now, with them having qualified, it's a bit more freedom for this duo. You know they were happy when they saw them get that VR, as now it opens up a little bit more flexibility in the early.
I feel like I have that shocked face right now because what you just said, the spots have opened up. It's something I feel like we didn't talk about enough during the course of the day, that when a team qualifies, their POI is open, their drop spot is open, and if it's already garnered at least 1 VR on the day, who's to say it won't do another? But with them gone, you got Crimson Nods, Razumi and Zoom here as well. And then another team slowly but surely rotating in toward the south, and if they want to take a bite out of this fight, they definitely do have the option. And with the medallion not gone just yet, Razumi and Zoom, you can see them just taking their time. They're not forcing it just yet. They want to make sure they have the materials just in case this gets into an extended fight.
Also, for clarification, when you see that leaderboard and you see the 1,000 points, that is from the Victory Royale, and like we were just mentioning, having qualified directly to the Grand Finals. So currently, if you're looking at the leaderboard, 3rd place Janice is 1st place, not having counted the Victory Royale. So we'll see if they can maintain that, or even just take their ticket to the Grand Finals with the VR, as it looks like now they've just taken out the NPC at Reckless Railways here. But there are players close by. The question is, are they going to aggress?
Take note of that cheeky strategy, though. You see how they drag the mythic boss away from where it actually spawns, so that team pushed up and try to get it themselves or try to disrupt it as a third party. It lessens the chance because they're not exactly there. They're just on the side. So great heads up move by both Flixie and Yanis to get themselves the NPC, the mythic loot, the medallion as well. But while one fight is finished, another one is still going on. They were not able to capture the Lavish Slayer boss just yet. And now we have like a 14 battle royal going down.
There's so many players at the Lavish Lair. I don't know why I was not invited to this gathering here, but it looks like Sandguild Marius are just waiting for the opportunity to strike Irizumi. Oh no. Be careful as he gets closer and closer to the duo crouched up here. Will they make their attack? 2 pumps come through, 1 knock. And now they've secured a quick, clean elimination.
One less team they have to worry about there. I should say full team because there is a duo still nearby. And look at the patience of Nomz and Cringe, though, just staying up there. That was their original POI they were going against Queasy and Thomas at, and with so many teams there, they really had to switch up their strategy. Art Skill is going to get dropped off. Astral's just trying to disengage off the yacht. And that's still a 3-team battle back there, so they were the 4th team, and they're just trying to get out alive. There's so much at stakes for just getting that VR at the end of this game, or at least giving yourself a fighting chance on that leaderboard.
6 seconds till zone starts closing, hugging the edge of the zone right now. High zone for Strokey. Gonna begin their rotate. Flowberry Fizz coming through, granting that mobility boost. Has Grapple Blade as well. Opponents went the opposite way, but there was another duo on the yacht there, so they do have to be careful. It looks like they didn't get into a full-on engagement, so all 3 duos here are just gonna try and make their way to zone.
It's not the worst situation to be in if you have mobility and a grapple blade, but even if you don't, there's a couple static launch pads around that area as well you can use for mobility if you weren't blessed with anything off of spawn. As Marius and Sandguild still nearby towards Lavish Layer. I can't see the medallion on screen anymore in that mini-map, so I gotta imagine somebody was able to capture that one finally. Especially with all this action going down around it, you gotta imagine that that's a huge risk that somebody was able to reap the rewards for.
Sandguild going right back to where he got that sneaky elimination with his duo partner. As now, I think they know someone's close, but they don't know where. Saw him crouched literally right in front of them, but now starts running. They know it's a solo. It's the duo partner. Can they catch up, though? Is it worth it? So many players are close to them. That solo could turn into a 3rd party, a 4th party from the surrounding players. So I don't think it's something that they want to risk.
I feel like every time we zoom out and get that overhead view, there's another team over towards Lavish Layer. And with the zone pulling in this direction, rightfully so, teams want to give them the best chance to get towards that center zone. Kiddo and Kiro towards the outskirts. No elimination so far, and you got to look at their builds as well. Lacking a ton of resources, trying to make their way towards the zone. And you can see the decision not to go straight for the launch pad. They almost got to go for the double revive plays until they make it in towards the zone. You can see the material getting passed around. Luckily for them, though, I will say, Takata, there is nobody even near them. No one that can even look in that direction because of the environment, the natural mountains that are nearby. So they're pretty safe for now. They just got to be able to make it out of the zone and into the next.
I mean, they also need loot. They could use a bit of materials, use a bit of heals, use a bit of everything, to be fair, almost. So hopefully they'll be able to recuperate that, as Yanis has to recuperate something greater, a duo partner that he's lost during this engagement here, but it might just be a 1 versus 1. It looks like he's not completely at a disadvantage, but I might have spoke too soon, as Vico and Pink now want to be involved in this battle. But it looks like the disengagement came through.
Yeah, it looked like he was going for a little bit of a cheeky chop. Yanis didn't want any part of that. Goes farther and farther outside of zone, but one solo chasing another. Sees Lazen by himself going towards the backside. He's in a very, very similar position as well, and he has to be careful. Combined 119 effective shield and HP, and as I say, that big pot is going to be prompted to come out. Give himself more wiggle room in terms of that shield, so that way he can fight off if he does get pushed. But I think his hunt right now, Takata, is going to be for a reboot ban or a wait to get Flixie back into the game.
Hunt for materials, hunt for his duo partner as he gets closer to the snowy mountains. So we did see another duo in a similar situation, but it was a full duo is the difference. You can see at the mini map how far his opponent has went. Actually chose to go into the storm here to try and make it out, as Giannis is going to pick up all these little small fries. Everything he can to withstand the zone and get that reboot.
Now, with the way this game's been going, man, any heals are better than none. And we've seen some teams kind of go down for and even risk it all to take down another team to try to get the HP heals, not necessarily just the shield. As Veno and Tayson trying to eye opponents into the distance. A little bit of a rough game in that last one. And so they're definitely pushing themselves to the test here to see how many points they can pick up, unless they just have their eyes set on that VR each and every game, regardless of where they place.
Veno's trying to find that shot. Will he get the connection, though? Hank and Vico. Oof.
Oh.
They're going to be the ones getting the connection, as Veno now has been cracked, has a medallion, so will recuperate a bit of the shield that he's lost and continue walking through.
Giannis was already able to get a knock on a Nate. I thought by now he would be able to clean that one up, but Lazen's got to be doing a good job. And this is the chase that we saw earlier on, maybe about 1-2 minutes ago. Giannis going to the backside of zone, thinking it was going to be just a solo. Nate was able to get rebooted. Lazen doing a good job, even fighting back from the low ground. Without too many heals onto Giannis. He's just waiting until he drops down to about 60 HP or less to try to use that small fry, get the most out of it each and every time. And quickly goes right back on up. It looked like he was toying with the idea to go for piece control. Now I feel like he just simply thinks he's going to outlive him and try to get all that loot. And I think regardless, the longer you stay in this position, you're almost making a no-win scenario for both of these players.
Right. If you play for that outlive scenario, you're not winning even if you get the elim. You have to close this engagement as quickly as possible. And both players know that, as now they're each just one shot away from securing that elimination. And it's going to be Giannis that goes down lane. 15 HP now. And it looks like this might just be the end for both players. Has Flowberry Fizz, has a crash pad, thinking, what are my options? What can I do here? As now he pops one more Fizz, but unfortunately, that's going to be the end for both duos.
Yeah, I feel like almost halfway through that fight, they had some sort of sense that that was going to happen, so at least he was able to get 4 more points for the elimination by taking down Giannis. You got to imagine him the same thing by taking down Nate. And depending on if you get credit for that last elimination, at least you're able to get something, both of those duos, for your efforts to try to move slightly up the leaderboard, even if it is going to just be one position, as Reason and Bag Chaser spot out Cammy and Seti rotating nearby. Quickly take that rift on out. And you can see as soon as that rift goes through, he spots the other one. And this is where they're going to make that conscientious decision to either go for the chase or not. And I think with Seti and Cammy coming back down, they choose the latter.
Moneymaker close to the reckless railways here. Getting active, getting reckless against his opponents. As he's looking for a close range sniper shot. Can he connect it? That one headshot could give them the player advantage. As he swings back to the frenzy, 56 HP forced to pop some minis, and now a med kit as well. Is this really the fight that they want to take? They already have 2. Do they need more?
And they do have a little bit of height advantage. Might be 1 layer, but at least it's something. Being on the edge of zone, I can see Moneymaker and Fanai maybe trying to rotate just a little bit deeper. Being on the edge is not a true feeling of comfortability, especially when you're stacked around 2 to 3 other teams. Flowberry Fizz coming out momentarily. About 25 seconds before the zone fully closes. Kind of pulls away from where they're currently located.
We'll see what happens when the zone does close. Meanwhile, all the players now kind of deciding what's their game plan. As we take a look here at an engagement with CZB Nathan. As they took some quick shots here on the edge of the zone, but that frenzy deleting Nathan's opponent. 2 quick shots is all it took. And Cammy and Seti, I wonder, yeah, no eliminations, but they've played it very well in terms of loot, materials, and hopefully damage alongside the rotation, as they continue to move through.
Yeah, they're just outside of that top 30 starting this game off, so they definitely have so much room to cover within these next 3 games in terms if they're going for placement. If they want to qualify for the FNCS Grand Finals, all they need is a big win here. And sometimes in order to propel yourself forward, just needs that one elim, that one moment to start to build that confidence. Paco Marion, they're rotating towards the slower side of the zone. They're trying to enter towards the north side by Classy Courts. And currently you see no real teams position on that side of the map. So my only question for them is how much Storm Surge they have to hold this position away from everybody else.
Getting in the bush, reloading. Unfortunately, not in the zone. We'll see how their Storm Surge is looking. 182 above. Not too bad. But they could use a bit more. DKS looks like he's a solo now. Carmi Lucia. 174 above. Have a solo close by. Do they know?
Like they're at least knocking on the door. Only 2 crash pads for DKS. Try to disengage. And you can see himself making space, probably trying to look bigger than he actually is. At least until Carmi and Lucia see that he is going to be a solo, trying to heal. They completely bulldoze through the first couple of builds using that Thunderburst, getting that piece control on over to their side. And I think because they don't know he's a solo just yet, they haven't gotten a little bit more aggressive. And I don't think DKS wants to wait until they figure out he's a solo.
Definitely not, as you can see. Ran away, crash padded away. 37 above, though. You gotta watch out here, DKS. Need to do some damage, but in the current position, if players start taking shots, he could start getting focused from multiple angles, especially if they realize that he is playing as a solo. Shimoki Wheat already getting ticked below the threshold. They do have Cheatin right below if they're able to do a bit of damage, but with so many duos looking at them and taking shots from afar, it just makes it that much more dangerous. No sniper to counter it either, as they're just forced to pop minis, pop medkits, use all their heals that they've saved up, but they're just one good shot away, a couple from the AR to go back on top. Can you land them, Shimoki? There's 2 shots. I don't think it's going to be enough. Duo partner has been knocked down, now left as a solo. This is looking very, very dangerous for Shimoki.
Yeah. Even though they were finally able to get above the damage threshold, at what cost? He can't even take a tick of zone. He's kind of stuck. Has to force the med kit out early, but Cheatin's above him, just putting that pressure down. Time has run out, and with all that effort, he does. Shimoki gets the med kit off at the last second, and you see Cheatin looking at the backside of his zone. What? He hasn't gotten down just yet, but this is Shimoki's only opportunity, but Zone pulling away to try to catch up. He still has to go through Cheatin. Sky Jump is there as well. His duo now. He's in the thick of it for Shimoki, but at least he's given himself a fighting chance to get some placement points in this game.
Shimoki is not done yet, doing the unthinkable with 3 HP, popping the medkit now. What he wants is that impact, that refresh to get the shield as well. Dexy, though, another player that's below, forcing a fight against 2 very healthy duos. He does have the angle. He will be able to get the first shot, but not in time, as Storm Surge will get the best of him. Carmi Lucia now. 1 elim on the board. Still below, but by not much at all. Against the knock, this could be it. Is it too risky, though? They know that there's players close by. They have the option to try and get the finish in the loot.
Wow. This is just one of those situations. This needs to go down to around 44 players when this zone closes. Almost 20 individual players need to go down before Storm Surge shuts off. Carmi and Lucia, they're well above that damage threshold, but they want more for their efforts. Lazen's knocked at the bottom. They're able to finally clean that one up, leaving Lox by himself, but at least he was able to get an elimination for himself and his team. He just needs a moment in time to stabilize his position here, get that HP up and that shield, even if he's a solo. But you can see Storm Surge just affecting so many players in this lobby. It does look like Kiro is going to be the first one taking a lot of that pressure. Kiduo trying to reunite onto Nebs. Eye drop is down. 1v1. He cannot turn around. He's hot on the heels. The frenzy going crazy. He has to switch to the Nemesis, not able to break through the builds fast enough to try to get the elimination, but he did push his teammate off, and just a sliver of HP left on the Kiro. This is massive for the revive, but Nevs returning to the scene. He's trying to go ahead and stop the revive from coming through, or at least get his own on the Nevs.
Kiro has been picked up, and also Nebs gets taken out. Kiro now back in business. Recuperated materials, 3 medkits, have minis and bigs. They can get their HP and shield right back up to where they want it to be. But with the zone closing in, they're on a time constraint. They have to rotate at the same time. Hopefully, there's not too many duos looking back. Veno Tayson as well in a sticky situation. Has lost Tayson. Veno is a solo now. Hits a quick hammer pop shot, but it's not enough for the knock, as now the battle continues. Gets cracked, 50 HP, 1 shot away from getting eliminated. Veno, you have to make something happen here.
Yeah, this is not situations that you see Veno and Tayson in so often. They're trying to disengage, and again, before placements go in, they go down. Another scoreless game for Veno and Tayson. The struggles continue, but you gotta imagine Malibuca and Mustache gotta be smiling ear to ear, back-to-back good games. They take another superstar team out of the lobby, making their road to the VR that much easier.
Vico, as a solo, has lost Pink, but full materials, 150. Good shields now, picking up the med kit. Gonna use it and pick up the crash pads to rotate. No grapple blade in the inventory, so the crash pads are gonna be what is gonna be used to rotate. Not even any flow berries or flow berry fizz to get that mobility boost, but if you can make good use of the crash pads, it could be all Vico needs. But with so many duos close by, with so many players rotate, having to do a long one as well, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, but he's still doing a good job right now. 283. Luckily for him, he does not have to worry about Storm Surge. He just has to worry about getting point A to point B, and some well-placed crash pads going to make that a possibility very easy, and immediately goes on the hunt for information, peeking through the cone, trying to spot out which teams are positioned around him, so when he makes this next rotation, he doesn't go through all that chaos. You see Moneymaker position not too far off. And this is where a lot of those decisions are going to be made in the next couple of seconds as the zone continues to move.
Ninth zone now appeared. Where is that first moving going to go? It's going to go west. First duo to capitalize it is Malibuca Mustache. They want the low ground as well. Looks like this could be it. Resin now. 2 on the board. Continuing to take shots. Players trying to figure out how we're going to get through here. There is a bridge on this rotation. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle for these duos, but you never know.
You have to watch out for Malibuca and Mustache going over the bridge. You didn't pay the troll toll. They might take you down for it, as Reason and Bag Chaser still moving by very, very smoothly. Malibuca and Mustache, they have so much position at the low ground, so much space to work with. You see them eyeing the next rotation before they move through, and Moneymaker and Fanayan are going to be the ones that have the high ground for now. But you can see there's a couple players beginning to focus their direction as Fanayan breaks through the box, gets another knock onto opponent, and that's huge. That's a material that he needed, which I'm not sure he got too much of. Moneymaker might have swiped that one up, but he only had 6 builds, so at least he doubled up there.
For 9 money, continuing strong. 9 builds, though. You said it yourself. They need an impact. They need more materials. What are they going to do to make it happen? They have players close by. The split came through. Money dropped a bit of metal, as now they can continue another zone. Cringe, Nomz up above. Kiro down below, as it looks like Money and For9 want that high ground, but they open up. Not too cautious as now For9's been cracked. 40 HP to work with. Opponent in his box gets knocked. Moneymaker left as a solo.
That was Hariz, who I think he didn't even mean to end up in the box either, but he went ahead and made magic happen. Moneymaker backside his zone. At least he has 2 med kits, picking up even more thanks to Fanayan before he makes his way forward. Siphon mats are huge for him and his survival. He continues to move forward. Found himself a great layer, so that way he can pop that first of many med kits he has in his inventory. Vico trying to do the same, but there's no HP, so heal off is not going to be a possibility for him. He has to go on an elimination hunt.
He can make use of that Mythic Frenzy, though, get a couple of eliminations, and then pick up those heals. It's what his mission is going to have to be for the Victory Royale. The path to success is what he's on, as Resin now, with 3, has lost his shield. 19 HP, just 1 shot away from being overthrown, from being taken out, as Moneymaker's close. 2 ticks to zone. It's all Resin can take. as he gets knocked out.
Just everything just comes crumbling down just like that as Malibuca and Mustache still looking strong as a full team. And you can see with only 1 eliminations, they're not worried about getting aggressive. They just want to stay till the very end. They know a couple of teams are positioned around them as the zone continues to move up and down these little hills, the mountains and the water as well. But Nomz and Cringe, zone after zone, consecutive standing on the high ground, and they're looking like the team that could take it all.
Zone pulls back. Safety for the duos that didn't have a lot of materials to work with as they can recycle now the tarps, the builds that have previously been placed as Vico is looking for that angle. He has to be careful against the duos. That mythic frenzy is strong, but Merstash Malibuca have to be more careful. 3 HP for Merstash, but he does damage. Is it enough for Malibuca to close it off? 31 to work with. Gonna maybe take the med kit here. Does he have time though? 1 HP? No, he does not. Malibuca Merstash are out of this match. Prahawa, Vexy, second place in game 1. They want to take the VR.
Yeah, this is huge for them, even if they don't get the win. But Vico for the backside of the zone. He terrorizes the whole team, takes him out, gets 2 medkits as well. Win condition has now just been granted before him if he could be able to make it through. Only 7 builds. That's going to be the worry part of it all. And the heal off is going to begin for Vico. Some would say it's too early, but for him, it might be the only chance.
Cringe and Nomz still up above. You can see Nomz now has been given the order to drop down below, cause disruption. Meanwhile, his teammate plays for that heal off. How many medkits, though, is the question as Nomz continues the aggression. Looks like he takes out Vico, and he takes out Kiro as well. Almost just 1 tick away. That's Kiro. Nomz has done his job, but does Cringe have enough heals, have enough medkits to close it off?
There has to be something going on towards that lavish layer. Let me tell you, Queasy and Thomas in that last game, now Cringe and Nomz looking like they could solidify it here, but it looks like it's an even race in terms of medkits, but Cringe currently has the HP advantage.
Who takes it? Prahawa and Vexy were in a very similar situation in game 1. They ended second. They were unable to come out on top, and the heal offs, they have another opportunity now to make it happen. But I'm not sure, Jacob. Cringe is looking like he might just be able to take it.
Yeah, unless Vexy goes on some sort of a hunt here, trying to get that last and final elimination. And they're not too far off from each other as well in terms of the mini-map, but one's high ground, one's low ground. Vexy with the last of his medkits being used, and in an instant, he goes down. Cringe and Nomz, our second team from Lavish Layer, advance to the FNCS Grand Finals.
3 games down, 3 duos now guaranteed a spot in the grand finals. It's showing how dominant these heal offs can be, how important it is to get these med kits. And for Prahawa and his duo partner, the second time they've got second place. Jacob, I'm feeling bad for this duo. They need to make something happen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many points they got on that leaderboard. You know as well as I do, that's the pride. It's the bragging rights and taking home a game on one of the biggest stages of them all. But back-to-back second places, they have to have their head held high and where they're currently positioned. But Cringe and Nomz, a well-played game. They got high ground at the perfect moment, and they held on to it to perfection to take the game.
What a way to close out game number 3. With only 2 games left, the players now have to figure out what their game plan is for the next steps, Jacob. I don't know. What do you think they're thinking? What's in their head right now?
I feel like Lavish Layer got to be in their head. Back-to-back teams qualifying from that POI, especially this game with how stacked it actually was. The over 4 or 5 different teams rotating in that direction within the first couple minutes of the game. And now at least they don't have to worry about it. They can watch all the action unfold. But I want to take a look at that leaderboard. Frankie, Mini Miner, Levin, what is it shaking out to be like?